Karanga ki arangi nui e tui honei, karanga kia papa tuānuku e tagoto nei. E koro, Neville, koutou o tērā rea ngā ipakanga nui mo tō tātou reo haere atu rā koutou. Tātou, ka mahue nei a koutou, ka whai atu nei o koutou tapu wai, tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou, tēnā tātou. Aotearoa, New Zealand, we have a population of just over 5 million people. 16% are Indigenous. We are Māori. We are tangata whenua, the people of the land. We have one Indigenous language, Te Reo Māori. 1 in 6 Māori speak our mother tongue. 3% of the entire total population of our country speak the language. But our language is described by UNESCO as vulnerable. This was not the way it used to be.
Each year, over 1.5 million people tune into Te Aratini, a Māori performing arts extravaganza that celebrates our language and culture. It is the biggest platform for the Māori language to be heard worldwide. Prior to European settlement, Māori were thriving, and the Māori language was dominant in New Zealand. Colonisation decimated the Māori population, crippling the ability to pass the Māori language on to future generations. The Native Schools Act 1867 punished children who dared to speak Māori.
Our grandmother generation wasn't encouraged to speak Māori. They were strapped for speaking Māori.
In the 1970s, Māori fought back through protests, through petitions, and to the steps of Parliament. In 1987, the Māori Language Commission was set up, and Māori was declared an official language of Aotearoa, New Zealand. It was an era which saw the birth of Māori language preschools, schools, universities, and radio stations, all dedicated to language survival.
Broadcasting is perhaps the most powerful medium of communication that we have.
In 2004, New Zealand's first Indigenous television network aired without apology.
Nau mai, haere mai ki tēnei hōtaka.
Today, Māori Television's digital strategy connects our families, our audiences, and our language to the Māori world.
If our tamariki are excited and invigorated and feel like the reo is relevant to their world, then we are winning.
The content we create influences how our future generations see themselves and how the world sees them.
Whakaata Māori is giving space to our voice to be heard.
It is a digital footprint we will imprint forever.
Next year, we commemorate 50 years since the Māori language petition was presented to Parliament in 1972. That same struggle continues today. Our fight, our struggle for the retention of our language and culture is real. But we have high hopes and high aspirations. And like Te Aratini, the many paths that are converged here in Dubai, our approach must be ararau, multi-pronged and multifaceted. That is why we support Māori language revitalisation efforts that focus on the whānau, on the family, that focus on the home, that support intergenerational language transmission and language immersion. But there is so much more to be done. 1 in 2 Māori are under the age of 25, which is why we're concentrating our efforts on that generation, on our tamariki, our children, on rangatahi, our younger people, to inspire them to learn and to use the language. Māori Television recently launched its first digital content app, Māori Plus, which takes our language and culture to our people and to the world.
Tōku reo, tōku oho oho. Tōku reo, tōku māpihi maurea.
Today, we celebrate the start of the Māori Television channel, a new era in broadcasting.
Nau mai ki te ao mārama I tēnei rāhina.
Nau mai hoki mai anō kia tapatahi. This is Māori Television's morning news program.
The Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern not fronting this issue today.
Tēnā koe kururaki kia kahatonu.
How's that reel going, by the way?
It's about finding a way to provoke, to create a cordon.
Kua rewa a matariki I whakaata Māori.
Those boys need protecting. How dare you champion on the mana of this whenua? Whakai koe kia hui Māori jatataki nei. Ko te wharehere te wāhi tika mōna.
Tell everybody the injustice that is happening here at Iumata.
This is Māori land.
We are mana whenua. Whakai te rā.
The Chathams are tucked away at the bottom of the planet, away from all the madness.
Ko te mea nui ki a rātou, ko te noho pūmau.
It's storytelling, it's whakapapu, family history.
Ko re wari wari ako.
Pūkana!
Te hau te rāpā?
Kai tiaki. Kia pai mai hoki.
Iko nei tōne ngā mea e rua.
Kia koe te girl, speak to my face first.
Kōrero Māori ai ngā wā katoa.
The good thing about being Māori is we adapt quite easily to adversity.
There are a lot of things working at Whakaata Māori that make this unique.
Every morning we have karakia. We live, breathe and practice tikanga Māori and speak te reo.
There is so much potential to just keep developing rangatahi.
As a Māori, it's a really great place to work.
Our vision is simple, but it is bold. And that is for our children, our tamariki, our mokopuna, our grandchildren, to grow up knowing their history, using and speaking their language, and practicing their culture, and ultimately reclaiming their rightful position in the world. I roto I te ao hurihuri. Nō reira, huri tō tātou whare, te nā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa.